It's lights out and it's F1 bingo on the Rear Winging It podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Kieran Ledwell, with my fellow co-host, my sister,
Ellie Ledwell,
and returning,
Harry McKay.
There we go. How are you all doing? How's everyone doing?
I'm good, thank you.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back where I belong. Obviously, you guys handled the reins, very nicely last week, but yeah, it's good to be back.
You're very kind. It's fantastic. I mean, this was our baby. We birthed it together, so it felt wrong to be doing it without you. So I'm very privileged to have you back with us.
Well, I was listening to the episode and you did a great job in my absence. Obviously, didn't quite have that flair that I bring, but it's very good.
Speaking of flair, Els, do you want to run us through our rules for bingo today?
Yes. Apparently, Kieran's too young and hip to go to bingo, but didn't stop me and Harry winning when we were on holiday in Fuerteventura. Much to the annoyance of the other.
They didn't stand a chance against us. They didn't stand a chance.
Yeah, we got some looks walking out of that evening. So, we are playing bingo. Predictions for the 2025 season are in each grid spot. We've got a 4x4 grid, so 16 predictions per person, and we will be playing throughout the season. First person to get 4 in a row wins a trophy that I think I've been told I have to buy, and a full house is all 16, so maybe someone gets there. If they do, I don't know what the prize will be.
2 trophies.
2 trophies, exactly.
Glory. Yeah.
Tickets to Silverstone next year.
Funded by you, the viewer.
Yeah, we're going to put subscriptions on. I want £100 an episode.
Right, so Ellie, do you want to take us from the top and go for your first row?
My first row. So in box number 1, I have Lewis Hamilton wins at Silverstone. Bit of a pipe dream, maybe.
Ooh.
He won last time. It was his 10th, was it? 9th, 10th victory? Record extending, whatever it is. He's won his home Grand Prix more times than anyone else. But only ever, obviously, with a Mercedes engine. So I've gone
Mercedes engine.
Lewis at Silverstone. That one's a bit of a fingers crossed. I'd like to see it. I'm not sure if I will see it, but my next, box number 2, is animals on the track cause a delay to a session. And I don't know, it could be groundhogs. You often get groundhogs over Canada. I think there's been otters before in Singapore or something.
Yeah, I think you're right.
There's talk of one back in like South Africa or something, so we'll get like giraffes on the track.
Yeah, full safari.
Exactly, a safari from the cockpit. Nothing sounds more terrifying. Number 3 in my third box, I've got Williams secure a double points finish before the Miami Grand Prix, which is in May, I believe. So I think there's 5 races before then, and so I'm hoping there's a double podium. Carlos Sainz, Alex Albon, match made in heaven. I'm hoping a double points for them. And what does this one say? I've got to read my handwriting. Oh, my 4th one is McLaren used team orders to swap drivers. We saw a bit of that last year. So I'm thinking it might come into play again this season.
I think for sure. Good start.
Thank you.
Shall I go next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My top 4. Right, so first line for me, Antonelli in the Mercedes gets a pole in qualifying. I don't think he'll hold on to win a race, but I think he's going to land a pole at some point. Very broad, any point in the season, but I think he'll get a pole. Second, Yuki is going to overtake Liam Lawson on track and finish above him. So in the sister car, the weaker car, I think one race he's going to get him and finish above him, which would be quite sweet satisfaction for all the Yuki fans out there like me.
Do you not think Yuki's more likely to crash into him?
Well, yeah, there is that. If he's about, it won't count if he crashes him out on the way past him. Okay, I'll make that caveat. I've got at least one rookie will get dropped mid-season, and I thought, or not be continued for next year. I thought I'd give myself that.
Can we just
They'll
clarify?
either get dropped mid-season.
Rookie.
Go on.
Are we counting Behrman and Doohan? Because they both have races under their
Behrman
belt.
definitely counts as a rookie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say Behrman count. If Nick De Vries counts as a rookie, then I say Behrman counts as a rookie.
Cool.
Yeah. And then lastly, I've got Ferrari will give out team orders that will be ignored.
Ooh.
So either way, I think both Lewis and Charles have it in them to ignore those orders and go for the overtake, regardless whether they should or not. So yeah,
who do you think's more likely? If you got to put money on who's going to ignore?
I think Charles will ignore it. To be honest,
I could see them both.
I can see Charles ignoring it. Yeah, I generally can see them both doing it, but I feel like maybe. Well, we'll see that we've had that discussion before about whether or not they're going to prefer. They're probably going in saying they're both equal, but the amount of money they're spending on Lewis Hamilton's contract, they can't not prefer him. So we'll see. We'll see who's ordered to do what, and maybe that will just depend on whether they listen or not.
There was a poll done by Formula One, and I read about it on their website. I think it was 56% of people voted them as the best driver pairing for the next season. So Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. Yeah. The majority of people think they're going to be the best pairing. I think the next was Lando and Oscar, and they were only on 20-something%. So they were half as, popular. So very interesting.
Very interesting. Right, passing on then. Harry, your top row.
Okay, I'm going to start off. I promise it's not all the Max Verstappen fan club on my bingo grid, but we'll start off. First driver to 100 points. I think it will be Max. I don't think.
Interesting.
I don't think it's going to be a great season for Red Bull, but I think Ferrari and the McLarens being much more evenly matched driver-wise, I think he'll be the first to get there. I think the Williams, which I'm one of my most excited teams to watch and see how they compare. But I think they're going to crash into each other. And I was thinking a lot of rookies on the grid. People want to prove themselves. Maybe that will cause some accidents. But I think these two sort of have a bit more to prove against each other, and who's going to end up leading the team and possibly use that as maybe a springboard again to a better team. So yeah, I think there'll be some sparks there.
A good point. They've both got a lot to lose when you think about it. That's a good point.
Yeah, a lot to lose. I think Antonelli. I think he's going to get points on debut. I'm not going to commit quite to a podium or a win, but I think he'll come out the gate swinging. As long as the Mercedes is
at the races.
Not a yeah.
We hope it's at the race.
Yeah. And then sort of complimenting Ellie's, I'm gonna put Hamilton's old teammate as the winner of Silverstone, Russell. I think it'll be British, but I think I'm gonna go with George Russell.
We've got a lot of British drivers on the grid this year, and if we include Alex Albon, we've got 5, I think. So it's quite a lot of British drivers. Nice. There's also a lot of French. Not sure how we feel about the Frenchmen, but a lot of French this year. 3 Frenchmen.
Yeah, I don't actually have it written down. I don't know if any of you do, but people winning their home Grand Prix, there's actually good chances this year with the amount of British drivers on the grid. And French as well.
Yeah, but also being in, you've got George Russell in the Mercedes, Lando Norris in the McLaren, Lewis Hamilton in the Ferrari. You've got 3 good drivers in 3 should be competitive teams. It's a very good opportunity.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my top row.
Good start. Els, back to you for your second row.
For my second row, so my 5th box, I guess, I've got Red Bull / Racing Bull or Visa Cash App RB have a driver swap mid-season.
Between each other.
You know how they like to shuffle. We've seen it before.
Max is getting demoted.
Max,
I mean, who saw it?
Yeah, he's gone.
Jeez, Lawson destroyed him.
Could you imagine?
I tell you what, that is not on my bingo card, so I'd be amazed.
Yuki finally gets the Red Bull seat, and it's Max's that he gets.
Dropping Max. Comes full circle, yeah.
I have not named.
No, they still don't promote Tsunoda.
I have not named names in my prediction.
Bring Checo back in.
Yeah.
I've just put racing.
If you had to put Ellie, if you did have to put money on it, what do you think the switch would be?
It would mean it would be Lawson coming out, but I'm not sure who I'd put money on going in. Either of them, I think. Maybe you'd put the rookie in there. Maybe you'd put the more experienced driver.
There's got to be a reason they haven't put Tsunoda in there, to be fair.
Yeah, maybe...
There's got to be a reason.
Maybe financially, maybe he brings in more money for... Like, maybe the racing bulls need a bit more money coming in than the
maybe.
Red Bull. Maybe they like someone with a bit more experience. It just goes against, normally they have the young and the up and coming drivers, but it seems odd. I don't know. My next one is Norris is the first driver to 100 points. It might be a bit optimistic, but yeah, it's controversial, but I'm going with it. I think that he had good form in the middle of the season. Towards the end, Max definitely was outperforming him, but we'll see.
I think his spirit had gone by then.
Yeah. I've put the Red Bulls crash into each other. I think Max likes to be aggressive, get his elbows out, and I think Lawson, maybe more than other teammates, is going to push him back, isn't going to take it as much as I think other people have. I think Liam Lawson's come in and he wants to prove his point, and he is a bit more of an elbows out kind of racing driver than Checo, shall we say.
That's a good point.
And then my final one on the second row is Antonelli gets his first podium. I'm not sure when, I'm not sure where, but I think he'll land himself on the podium.
Yeah. And he's got too much talent.
I hope for him then. So I think, the rookie with the most to prove, I reckon.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think with the most expectation on his shoulders by far.
Yeah, he's got the biggest seat, and people have been talking about him for a long time now. So.
Yeah, for sure. Right, moving back on to me then. So, I've got all top 4 teams. So Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, and McLaren are all going to have a double podium at some point in the season.
Oh wow!
I think it's going to be a really even season across the board. By the end of last year, I mean, at least 3 of the teams really weren't that far apart. I think given how many races are on the calendar, I just see it happening, to be honest. I think it's going to be a really competitive season. I'm looking forward to it. My second one, I think a driver is going to lose a race due to a time penalty added at the end.
That would be...
So given how willing they are to dish out these 5 and 10 seconds for breathing in the wrong direction these days, I can just see it. Lando Norris, track limits one too many times, in the lead by 4.5 seconds, boom, race win gone. I can just see it happening.
Do you think that he'll get on the podium, get his trophy, and then have to go and give it to someone else? Because I love it when that happens.
Well, it depends. When it gets the time it's added on automatically, then I guess you know straight away. Imagine crossing the finishing line first and knowing you've not won. That must be horrible, to be fair. But yeah, you'd hope that doesn't happen, because it does become a bit farcical when that happens. And you do feel really bad for the driver, but I think with how willing they are to dish out penalties these days, I can see it happening.
Has it happened to Russell multiple times, getting the full podium celebration and then handing off the trophy?
Yeah.
He's been on the podiums a lot more times than he has trophies to prove it.
Yeah, I didn't commit to saying they'd make it all the way onto the podium steps, but they'll finish the line in first and not pick up the trophy, at least. Well, keep the trophy. They might pick it up and then hand it over, but they won't keep the trophy. Third one then for me, I think we're going to have a race with no DNFs in the whole race. Quite a bit of a cop-out, that one, because I think we did have it quite a few times last year, but with how reliable the cars are now, I think it's inevitable that more and more times we're not going to see as many DNFs. Gone are the days when you see an engine blow up like every single race, I think. So that's nice. And then another one for me, I think one of the top 4 teams is going to fire their team principal in the middle of the year.
In the middle of the year?
Yeah. I think it's going to be such a competitive year that if one team isn't at the races, they're going to have a lot of questions as to why they're the team that's missing out in such a competitive season. And I don't think one of them will make the cut. I don't know which one. Just throwing it out there. We'll find out. I don't think it'll be Toto or Christian, to be fair.
I think Toto's going to leave for better tailoring. Because that man's decked in Adidas now, and he does not look thrilled about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my fault.
I think Horner would be more likely to go if the politics takes over. You know, if they really have a weak start to the season, it could happen. But it seems like maybe he has won that battle. But
yeah, I think his
I think if
he
was going to get if they were going to get rid of him, you feel like it would have already happened by now.
Yeah.
But who knows? We'll see. But yeah, there we go. That is my 4.
Cool. So I'm gonna say we're gonna start off first race of the season, Australia. We're gonna have a red flag. I think it's been a while since it's been a while since we've had a race. It's the last of these regs. I think people are gonna really hit the ground running.
Lots of rookies.
They're going to be a bit too optimistic. Yeah, lots of rookies.
And then we can say quite literally.
I think at least one red flag.
Oh, that was a rookie error.
And then I'm going to say, for my second one, I'm going to say Leclerc's Monaco curse is coming back.
Oh.
It's coming back. I think he's gonna crash in Monaco. He's gonna mess up in a big way, whether it's qualifying or the race. I think by then the pressure might get to him. I think we had team orders. I'm going to say McLaren are going to use team orders, and it's going to get a little bit spicy. I think someone else said Ferrari, but I think following on from last year, I think that will continue to be contentious.
I think that could be the one thing that stops them. If they don't win the drivers or the constructors, but they're in with a shout, it could be they could take they could shoot themselves in the foot with their team orders.
Yeah,
will be interesting to see this year how the drivers react to it, because I think the team might be a bit more proactive with it, given that they definitely left points on the table last year for Lando, but Piastri can turn around and say, well, I'm a race winner as well, so why should I? So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I think out of any of the top sort of 4 teams, I could see them losing it, the drivers especially, when they deserve it. I think
yeah,
it's hard because they were quite even, and he's had time, unlike Hamilton, to make it even and to kind of chip away Norris's view as the golden child at McLaren. So I think it could be
that's
a good one. And then I think Ferrari will be the first team to get a double podium. I think I agree with that F1 poll. I think they're probably the strongest team, the driver lineup wise. I think they'll hit the ground running. That's my 4.
Els, back to you.
Oh, back to me. So this is row 3. I've gone for Jack Doohan outscores Pierre Gasly at the Australian Grand Prix. First race. He's going straight in. I mean, obviously he did the last race last year. It was a whole thing. But I think he's going to come in and he's going to beat Gasly. My next one, I've got Max is going to go from the back of the grid because of, probably a penalty or something. And I think he's going to go from the back of the grid and get a podium. And it's going to be an absolutely iconic drive. And I really hope it happens because I can't wait to see it. I've also gone for a Ferrari 1-2 at some point in the season. Be interesting to see how competitive they are with each other, but hopefully they're quite well matched. And I've also said, it was said earlier, but I've also said all 20 drivers will finish a race. I think...
No DNFs, yeah.
No DNFs. We shall see. They've moved some of the races to make... Japan, they've moved so it's not in the raining season. So I think they've moved some of the races to avoid days where we won't be able to see much action or days where there'll be a lot of crashes. I think they've kind of taken steps to mitigate that, so maybe that's why we'll see more complete races. That's my 4.
And again, last year under these current regs, they've had enough time to learn the cars that we shouldn't be seeing too many technical DNFs, But hey, we'll wait and see. Maybe we'll be proved wrong.
Maybe.
But we'll see.
Good.
Awesome. Right, back to me. So, I think we're going to see a double Aussie podium with Piastri and Lawson on the podium together.
Harry's going to start singing the national anthem.
Yeah. Are we saying this is in Australia? They'll both be on the podium.
No, just at any point. At any point. Those two kids will be on the podium together, two youngsters.
Oh, that would be
my second
one.
Ideal. That would be awesome, I think. A couple of shoeies, something like that, you know. My second one then, bearing in mind the changes to the calendar, full wets, we won't see them used all season. They were barely used at all 2024. I think if we get away with Brazil not being too wet and a few races, Silverstone not being too wet, we might get away with no full wets used all year long.
Does that mean just in the race? Or are you saying in all the sessions?
Yeah, let's say in the race. All the sessions might be a bit...
For clarification.
We won't see the full wets in a race. Because to be fair, in qualifying, if it's full wet weather, the cars, unless no one's gone out for the entire session and you need to get a lap time, they normally don't really bother too much either. So, but I'll be fair to myself and just say no full wets used in a race. Third one, spicy one. A driver will miss a race due to their super license points.
Oh, that Kevin Magnussen last year.
Hey. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it's a shame he's not around because he probably would have been the best bet.
Yeah.
I think a few drivers seem to be pushing it close. I don't know. We'll see. When was the last time it happened? I think, if I remember, Grosjean missed one in the 2010s at some point from it. But yeah, I just think with how they're dishing penalties out these days, I can see it happening. And last one for me, a pair of teammates are going to crash each other out from a race. So not just tap each other, they're going to wipe each other out. Maybe it'll be the Williams boys. Maybe it'll be Ferrari trying to establish who that number one driver is. But yeah, I think two teammates going to knock each other out of a race.
I hope so. Do you know what? I really hope so. Because we've had some team rivalries. We've had a bit over the last couple of years, but nothing too special. I feel nothing quite like the. I mean, I was hoping a little bit more with the when we had Gasly and Ocon together. I was hoping it'd get a little bit more reactive, but
I was thoroughly disappointed by them.
Yeah,
you know, it's not like the good old days. Your teammate used to be your worst enemy. Now they're all palling around playing golf together. You know? Take it seriously, fellas.
Game's gone soft.
I want like I think it was Ocon and Checo when they were teammates in the pink cars, just crashing each other out. Proper, you know, on the straights, just no need for it kind of style. That's what I want.
Yeah, in Spa in a straight line, heading at a wall. Yeah. Unbelievable. I want the Hamilton Rosberg days back. That's what I'm after.
Yeah. Or Hamilton and Alonso.
Yeah.
Or Hamilton and Button. I don't actually know if they did, but just
no, they were actually not too bad with each other. But... Right, that's me done. On to you, Harry.
Cool. I think I was tempted to go for no mid-season driver swaps, which I think is more likely. But I'm gonna say Alpine, and I'm gonna say Duhan's not gonna make the full season. Just not so much a reflection on just his talent. This is more of a reflection on Alpine not knowing what they're doing at any point. And I think there's a chance he could, just through the politics of the team and the mess they're in, I think he could potentially lose it.
Do you think they would get somebody established in, or do you think they would go for another rookie halfway through the season? Who have they got Colapinto as their reserve driver this year?
Yeah.
So do you think they're
not exactly established?
No, but
he can't afford it.
He at least
can't afford the crashes of Colapinto.
Yeah, he was cheaper than Logan Sargent. But then again, I think I'd be cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you would. I was the other hands 10-2 on an F1 steering wheel like that.
That's not how I drive.
Around the corners.
I'm a safe driver. I'm a sensible driver. So.
I'm gonna say for my next one, I'm gonna say Lawson is gonna get. I put first podium /win. I think more likely it's just a podium, but I'll be hoping for the win. Kiwi on the top step would be nice.
Harry, where were you? Where did you spend your childhood?
I actually grew up in New Zealand. I don't know if anyone knew that.
I never knew that about you.
I never knew that. Yeah. So yeah, I'll say first podium, but I'm hoping for the win. And then I think the first constructor to 200 points, I'm going to say is going to be McLaren. I think Mercedes and Red Bull, just with the slightly weaker driver lineups, it's not going to happen. I think it'll be a Ferrari McLaren toss up, and I think that will extend to the Constructors' Championship. But I think McLaren will get there first. I think they dipped a little bit end of last season, but I think they've got the momentum still more than Ferrari. I think it's going to take Hamilton a little time to warm up, so I'm going to say they'll cruise to 200 first. I think we'll have an announcement during the year that Yuki Tsunoda won't be driving for the Racing Bulls in 2026. I think he won't be promoted to Red Bull. Whether he gets another team or whether he's out of F1, I'm not sure, but I don't think he'll be with the Red Bull family for next year.
He does strike me as an odd fit, because normally the people in their second team are drivers that they would look to promote to their first team, to the Red Bull team. Yeah. And with Yuki, they seem very reluctant to do that. So I do agree he needs to either move on to the Red Bull or get out, because he's never going to get that seat.
Yeah. Exactly. The idea of the RB seat is you're a potential Red Bull driver, and if they're never going to bring him up, he's not a potential Red Bull driver. So that makes sense, to be fair. Maybe this is the make or break year for him, really. He's not young enough anymore to blame his youth and naivety. He's got enough years under his belt that he should be consistently performing. So maybe this is the year.
Yeah, we got 5 rookies on the grid that are going to be looking for better seats, and Yuki, he's had his time. I think if he doesn't really, and that's not to say he's not been a good driver, but I think with Max Verstappen not committing to potentially seeing the next 10 years in Formula One, I think Red Bull will reconsider and take that team back to what it was and cultivating younger talent.
Yeah, which it did a very good job at. It did cultivate some very good talent. Multiple world champions. So
exactly.
Is it back to me? Back to me.
Yeah,
so this is my final row. I've got Ferrari win at Monza, so a home win for the Ferrari team. The crowd goes wild. I'm not sure who it will be. I'm not committing to it's going to be a specific driver, but I think a Ferrari win at Monza, that would be absolute scenes, as they say. I've said,
as the kids say,
Sauber will score 0 points by the mid-season break. So by the summer break, I think Sauber will have absolutely no points. They finished last season on, I think, 4 points. So it's not a bold prediction, is it?
Way to push the boat out.
Yeah. Well, hey, they've got... They're kicking on. This is their transition year. Obviously, they're going to be Audi next year. They're moving some of their base over to the UK. They've got Matteo Bonotto, whatever his name is. I'm
close enough.
Yeah, it's some Italian guy. I don't even think he's Italian. They've 2 new drivers. We'll see. I've also said Monaco has at least 1 red flag. Obviously, we saw quite a big crash there last season. And I think as the cars are getting bigger, a lot of rookies driving around, I think there'll be a red flag in Monaco.
Yeah.
And
do you think they'll have
the size of the cars? It's not hard to block the track, really.
Do you think they'll have implemented our sprinklers on the track at Monaco idea? Is that why you're predicting that?
Yeah, I think we are geniuses, and I think the turmoil that the FIA is currently having, like, why don't they get us in to run the ship? We'd do a better job, wouldn't we? Like, me and you.
Smooth sailing.
We'd just have the most ridiculous tracks.
First rule, right? Swearing, not only allowed, it's encouraged.
I heard they might ban the radio if they swear too much.
Yeah, team radios.
They're gonna punish me for that.
Yeah.
I think there'll be... Yeah, I think it'd be a much more interesting sport if we were at the helm, if I'm being honest with you, Harry. You know...
It would get weird.
What do you mean by that? Like, drivers have to, like, get out halfway through a race, swap cars, and then carry on or something.
Yeah.
Like, swap team halfway through. My final one is Ferrari will be the first constructor to 200 points. I'm not sure they'll win. I'm just saying they will get to 200 points. So that's probably going to be about halfway through the season, do you reckon?
Yeah.
Something like that. So I'm saying they'll be the first to 200. And that is my 16 4x4 grid.
We've got I've got McLaren for that one, so it'll be interesting to see which of us predicted right there.
It's back to you, Kieran.
Right, so is that back to me? Good. So I have got a team double stacking, get it wrong, and cost a position.
Oh, I love it when that happens.
Yeah. I'm not going to commit to whether it's going to cost someone a podium or a race win. I feel like maybe they wouldn't risk it, but definitely a team somewhere is going to get it wrong. Let's say it's normally a safety car situation, something like that. They're not going to have the tyres ready. Someone's going to get stuck in the blocks.
It's worse when
they cost themselves
the first team that comes in has an issue. They can't get the tyre off or something, and then they mess up both drivers' races because they had an issue with the first pit stop. So.
Yeah, big time. My second one, I've got someone outside of the top 4 teams is going to get on the podium. So someone from the midfield is going to, bring wet race, a couple red flags, something like that.
Well, we had an Alpine double podium last year, so...
Exactly.
Miracles do happen.
Maybe Sainz can work his magic again and get up there. That would be a story
that'd be incredible.
Books, but that I think might be a bridge too far, but you never know. We'll see. Talking of Sainz, actually, then my third one, I haven't specified it too much, but I've put Sainz and Albon have a falling out. I think it's going to be really competitive with those two all year long. Maybe a few scuffles, a few crashes, and I think they're going to have a bit of a falling out at some point. Because I think Sainz might come in thinking he's the, more experienced, more decorated driver on paper. But Alex has proved time and again he's a good Formula 1 driver, so he won't have it all his own way. So, yeah, I predict those two having some kind of big bust up at some point in the season. And then my final one to finish off, similar to yours, Els, I've gone for it, but I've gone a bit bolder. I've gone a Ferrari 1-2 at Monza.
Ooh.
Yeah, again, I'm not committed to who's finishing where, 1 or 2, but yeah, we can dream. A Ferrari 1-2 at Monza.
They'd probably have a national holiday in Italy.
Yeah, yeah. The streets would be packed, that's for sure. But yeah, a Ferrari 1-2 at Monza. I just think the driver lineup they've got, the amount of effort they put into that race every year. This year might be the year. When was the last time it happened? Probably not for a while. I know they've won, but the last time they had a 1-2, well, I can't have been for a while, right?
2024 United States Grand Prix. They had a 1-2.
There we go.
So not too long ago. But in Monza, probably a while.
Yeah, probably a lot further away.
Okay.
1979, I think.
1879?
Just a bit before our time then.
1979. I was going to say there wasn't Formula. They didn't have cars in 1879.
It's because I was reading an article from 2018, so I said 18 instead of 1979.
It was a chariot race. That's where the horse comes from.
Yeah, but no, yeah, that's me done.
Cool.
Yeah, Harry, finish us off.
I'm gonna say, on the winning home races, I think Max will win his home race. I think the Dutch Grand Prix. He's done it many times before. We know he's strong. We know he's strong there. I think he'll win the Dutch Grand Prix. I think Hamilton last season, especially qualifying pace wasn't quite there, but race pace was still very strong. And I think while he's getting used to the Ferrari, I think we could see a similar situation. So I'm going to say he's going to have a bad qualifying, maybe coupled with a penalty, but I think it could just be from a bad qualifying, out in Q1, but goes from the back of the grid to a podium. He's done it before. I think if the car's strong, I think he'll manage it.
And sometimes I think he seems to. Sometimes it brings the best out of people. A battle through the field. I think they've got something to sink their teeth into. Yeah,
I think he clearly enjoys it. He clearly likes it. I think he's had a bit more. He got a little bit, like all drivers do, I think, comfortable with being out front for a while and just quite far up the road. But last season's honed his. Yeah, I think last season's honed his driving, wheel to wheel with other cars again. So yeah, I'm going to say Red Bull are going to come away with the season's fastest pit stop. They're pretty good at it. McLaren's been at their heels, but I think Red Bull will take it back. And then my last one is more of, it's a bit of a hope, because I feel like last season we had a long period where we didn't have any safety cars. And while sometimes that can ruin a race, sometimes, a lot of times it adds a bit of excitement to it. So I'm going to say there won't be a race this season where all 20 drivers finish. I think we'll always have a retirement.
Opposite us then.
Yeah, opposite you two.
Okay.
I think with the rookies, I think with maybe teams taking a slight risk with it being the last regs of the season on their car designs. Potentially some teams neglecting it, and that could cause some engine issues or reliability issues. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a long shot, but
it's going to be interesting to see the development of the cars over the year and see how much they're putting into it and how much they're saving.
How much effort they put in.
Yeah, how much they're saving for the next season, the new regulations. So how they balance it will be fun to see play out.
Yeah, for sure. Because then if it isn't if it's as competitive as it might be, as it could be, which teams then make a decision and say this is the year? Which teams say actually no, next year? And that's going to have ripple effects onto the new year, isn't it? With the new regs as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, if I were Aston Martin, I would squirrel away Adrian Newey for the 2026 regulations and just say this year will be this year.
Year is, I'd agree.
They don't need to worry about money. They're not a team that, we need to get this place on the grid.
Yeah, they spend and beyond the cost cap, so they're fine for money. Yeah,
yeah, they're not a team that has to worry about their performance this year. I think it makes more sense for them to kind of let this one fall by the wayside and kick on for 2026, because they'll have a real shot. New factory, new wind tunnel, new Adrian Newey, new everything.
Do you think it's just maybe come a little bit too soon, or do you think they'll have enough time? I mean, I can see if they neglect this year, Alonso being, annoyed if maybe the promises of next year don't come out.
Yeah, it would be typical Alonso for him to leave at the end of the season because they're not progressing, and then the next year Lance Stroll becomes world champion.
I say,
if they leave, if he leaves, right, that is what's going to happen. Stroll world champion.
If he leaves next time we do bingo, all 16 cards is Stroll world champion 2026.
Stroll wins Monaco. Stroll wins Spa. Just every race.
I'm sure Alonso's not too unhappy with the millions he's being paid, though, so there is that. I mean,
yeah, he's probably doing all right.
Yeah. I've heard of less well-off 40-year-olds. So.
And he's got great hair still, It's not like it's not like Seb Vettel. Let's face it. By the end, he was going bald.
Well, that's what Ferrari will do to you. Maybe Hamilton will lose his hair for a second time.
Yeah. You'll have to go back to Turkey for another hair transplant.
Yeah.
Hamilton to go grey.
That wasn't on my bingo card.
What do you think then is your most likely road to which road do you feel most confident you're going to get ticked off first?
The top one. I've got some.
Yeah, I think my top one as well. Anthony Pole, Yuki overtaking Lawson. At least one rookie will get dropped. Ferrari will give out team orders that be ignored. I think that's probably my most realistic shot at getting 4 in a row.
Yeah, my top one includes animals on track. So I might have to fly somewhere and release some animals.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're getting desperate.
Put your hand on the scale a little bit there.
Yeah, if it gets to Silverstone and there's not been any animals on the track,
it's like Yuki Tsunoda talking about global warming with the animals in places he doesn't expect,
Yeah.
Be Silverstone and Ellie will throw a badger out there or something.
There's a giraffe on track at Silverstone. It's crazy.
Yeah.
There's a killer whale in the lake at Interlagos.
Or in the fake
the fake
marina at Miami.
There's a manatee plopping around in there. Let's hope not. Manatees are endangered. Treat them with respect. Can I make a final thought? I don't know if we're at final thought stage.
We're getting there. Well, you've railroaded the conversation.
Well, I can edit this bit out.
Now we're here. No, none of that.
Give the people what they want. They want their final thoughts.
They want their final thought.
One
day we'll do an episode of just final thoughts.
I think that we did once record an episode and it never got released. I think we just looked at each other afterwards and we were like, that was awful. And it was just never released.
Our final thoughts are, we're going to redo this.
Yeah, that we never did.
Alright, Els, anyway, what are your final thoughts?
I don't know. I can't remember. No, what I was going to say is that it's been lovely to have Harry back with us.
It has been.
Oh.
He's completed us, like a triangle.
That is really kind. I hope everyone's final thoughts are about how great I am.
Yes. Yeah. You do your final thought about yourself, and we'll see. What I will actually say is my real final thought is I will post our bingo cards on our social media. We will follow them throughout the season, so we'll do a little bit at the end of episodes to be like, oh, did you get any on your bingo card? And I will include a blank one onto the interweb. So for all our avid fans, I'm going to put a blank one on there. You can fill in your own bingo card. Send it to us.
Yeah,
we might discuss it. Follow along. Yeah, join the fun.
Best bingo card will get a shout out on the podcast as well.
Yes, or the only bingo card will get a shout out on the podcast.
Honestly, if you send it in, you've probably got a 1 in 1 or a 1 in 2 chance. So get those bingo cards sent in. Yeah. And the best one, we'll give you a shout out. We'll let you play along, and if you win, you won't win the prize, but you get some bragging rights as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lead into my final thoughts then. I'm gonna say, winning this bingo would really mean a lot to me. Coming back's been great, but really, what's it all about if it's not victory? Yeah. I would say it's probably top 2 best bingos I've ever won, obviously behind the one me and Ellie smashed.
It wasn't actually
against some old ladies.
Harry bought 2 bingo cards and then random gave one to us and one to the other half of the people we were with, and it was the other half that won. Because Harry had paid for the tickets, we were like, no, we just split it.
Ooh, okay.
Better luck this time then. So
yeah,
you've saved up your luck you've lost all your luck there, and you're going to win it back this time.
Yeah.
Right. My final thought is, I actually really want to go play bingo now. Bingo night.
They do bingo at the York Barbican, and you can win a mobility scooter.
There you go.
What a prize.
So there we go. Kieran will be rolling up in time.
Otherwise known as the Sauber 2025 F1 car.
Yeah.
It doesn't come with Nico Hulkenberg though.
Sadly not.
F1 driver sold separately.
Right, awesome. On that then, my final thoughts. I want to play bingo. That's it. There we go.
That's it. There we go.
Thank you very much for listening. Hope you play along at home. Hope you follow on our journey throughout the season, playing this epic bingo.
Epic bingo.
And it's it's goodbye from me, Kieran.
Goodbye from Ellie.
Goodbye from me, Harry.
See you next time.
See you next time.